Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Parmigiani Fleurier Kalpagraphe chronograph. You can see this 18-karat rose gold Parmigiani on our website, watchyouwant.com. You can purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time to go to our full listing for this watch with accessories, extra photographs, and of course, complete pricing information. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the Kalpagraphe really looks like nothing else, although it fits in a size that's distinctly oversized in the modern sense, but not overwhelming thanks to the remarkable camber of those tapered teardrop lugs. Now, the watch is 40 millimeters across the broad of the case, which is to say, from the 9 o'clock side to the 3 o'clock side. That's not including chronograph pushers or the crown. And from lug to lug, again, think oversized, 52.5 millimeters from lug to lug, but it has a nice camber to it. You can see how those Baroque lugs really do curve around the natural form of the forearm to make this watch a little easier to wear on a smaller wrist like mine. Now, it is 13.5 millimeters thick, but because of the generously sloped case flank, it's pretty easy to fit this one under a tight sleeve or dress cuff. It's not a bully in that sense, although the wrist real estate that it takes up in terms of total area is comparable to something like an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore 42, and nevertheless, it is much easier to fit under any kind of sleeve and wear in formal attire than just about any offshore. Now, the watch does have impressive heft. Parmigiani is a true manufacturer that builds every part of the watch, and the family of companies that Parmigiani owns has created an incredibly stylish and incredibly massive case. You really do feel the gold of this one. The case has great depth. It also has voluptuous lines that splay out in all directions, ensuring that you do get quite a good bit of precious metal on this watch. Now, those who know Parmigiani know that traditionally Hermes makes the straps, so this Hermes alligator and calfskin strap is of superb quality. Handmade, you can see it's a gorgeous rectangular scale, monotone black stitch alligator on the top. You can also see that although it is not a conforming end piece, it has complete freedom to move. There is a clever underslung fitment of the spring bars, such that you really don't see any daylight, you don't see any gap between the strap and the flank of the case. Visually, it's very nicely integrated, and it feels just as good as it looks against the skin. Now, Hermes makes the Parmigiani straps, but make no mistake, Parmigiani, the manufacturer, makes its clasps, and the clasp is up to the standard of the rest of the watch. Double deployant, twin trigger actuated for security. It won't just pop open, it's not friction fit. It's beautifully polished inside, and the attention to detail goes right down to the differential size of the swing arms. One large, one small. The idea being to create an ergonomic win that's friendly on a smaller wrist. It doesn't have that one big clumsy up and over fold of a single deployant, so it's not going to pinch your wrist if you do have a smaller wrist. And you can see that all aspects of this clasp, even the underside of the buckle, are beautifully finished. This is a massive clasp. There are some ultra-thin watches, such as the Patek Philippe 3520 that I just had on the channel, that actually weigh less than that clasp. Now, inside a Baroque case, you get a dial to match. Once again, courtesy of Parmigiani's family of companies. Now, the Kalpagraphe has a lot going on. Beautiful applied rose gold elements. It has what Parmigiani terms delta hands at center. They're a bit more expressive than you'd expect on a formal watch, but this one really does split the difference between a dress watch and a sports watch, so the luminescent application is quite apropos. This is a watch that you can read in low or no light. Now, the depth speaks for itself. Around the periphery, the hour track with the applied elements, there is a sunburst pattern radiating from an imaginary center point. The sunburst stretches out and creates a metallic gleam that frames the matte finish silver center and the golden framed sub-registers. Now, the sub-registers are quite legible thanks to white on black printing. You can also see the chronograph hand in motion. It's quite easy to read the chronograph scale, although there's a little bit of dissonance at the bottom of the dial where the chronograph seconds are broken by the sub-register for the hour counter. A small visual quirk, most will find that it's easy to estimate, but the bottom line is that everything here works. The Kalpagraphe is a little bit off the reservation in terms of styling. You can see there's calculated visual asymmetry. The combination of gold, silver, and black elements, off balance, nevertheless work quite well. And I've set the watch to the changeover at the first of the month, so you can see the whimsical 1 red 1 on the date wheel. That's the only use of printed color anywhere on the dial. And again, you only see it on the first of the month. Now, Parmigiani is also a true manufacturer in the mechanical sense. And what we have here is a remarkable 68 jewel Parmigiani caliber PF334. Now what this is Parmigiani's bedrock twin mainspring barrel 50-hour power reserve Voucher 4000 movement with a modular chronograph. Now the modular chronograph is a superb addition because it allows the base Voucher 4000 caliber to maintain its above average 50-hour power reserve and its underlying efficiency thanks to unidirectional winding, ceramic rotor bearings, even torque distribution throughout the entire power reserve of the watch, and at the same time that module allows Parmigiani to use a refined vertical clutch engagement system to start and stop the chronograph. And you could see the smooth sweep of the chronograph when you actually depress the pusher. It doesn't jump forward into action as you would see with a lateral clutch. Thanks to the vertical clutch module, you get a very smooth progression. You also get some flexibility in how you can use the chronograph. Being that it is a vertical clutch, if you prefer center seconds to match center minutes and center hours for the time of day, you've got that thanks to the vertical clutch mechanism. You're not going to wear down the chronograph via continuous engagement if you just prefer to leave it continuously engaged. Now this is a bit of a rock star in the watch world because while they don't openly advertise it, Richard Mille does use the Voucher 4000 across its entire basic family of watches, often seen in titanium and skeletonized. It is nevertheless the same train and barrel architecture, so the pedigree of this one extends far beyond the Kalpagraphe. It is a bit of a rock star in the watch world. You can see this Parmigiani Kalpagraphe chronograph in 18 karat rose gold on our website, watchyouwant.com.